There is a difference between someone who truly changes their life and someone who stays trapped forever in the same cycle. Starts something, abandons it, starts again, abandons it again. It is not lack of willpower. It is not lack of motivation. It is something much deeper that nobody ever told you. Today, I will show you the ancient Japanese system that transformed Owen, a man with no discipline, no plan, and no structure, into someone his family had never seen before. And before this video ends, I will tell you one truth about discipline that will change forever how you look at every single day of your life. Stay until the end. Subscribe now, hit the like button, and tell me in the comments the one habit you have tried to build and failed at more times than you want to admit. Let's begin. His name was Owen, 27 years old. Not a bad person, not stupid, not lazy by nature, just someone who had never once been forced to build himself from the inside out. His life had been comfortable enough that discipline was never necessary. Wake up whenever, eat whatever, work the minimum required, spend the rest on nothing important. He had tried to change before, multiple times. Every January, the same ritual. This year, everything changes. Ambitious plan, full transformation. Wake up at 5 a.m., train every day, read every night, stop wasting time. The plan always lasted 3 days. For if he was lucky, by Wednesday the negotiation would begin. By Friday the surrender was complete. By Sunday he was already planning the next attempt. Owen had spent 8 years cycling through the same pattern. Fire on Monday, ashes by Friday. He told himself he was not the type of person built for discipline. He told himself some people had it, and some people did not. He was one of the ones who did not. He was wrong, but he would not discover this until the moment his world gave him no other choice. Owen's father had a stroke on a Thursday. Not fatal, but enough. Enough to end 30 years of factory work overnight. Enough to change everything about how the family survived. Owen's mother worked part-time. His younger brother was 12 years old and still in school, which left Owen, the 27-year-old man, who could not maintain a single habit for more than 4 days. He told himself he would change immediately. He wrote another plan. Wake up at 5 a.m., find a better job, study for certifications, save money. The plan lasted 3 days. On the 4th day, he was on the couch at 2 p.m. watching videos when his 12-year-old brother walked into the room. His brother did not say anything. He just stood in the doorway and looked at Owen on the couch. That look lasted 4 seconds. Then he walked away without a word. Owen sat with those 4 seconds. For a very long time, his brother had not said, "You are lazy." He had not said, "You are failing us." He had not said anything at all. But in that silence was the most devastating thing Owen had ever heard. Disappointment that had already given up on expecting more. That night, Owen did not write another plan. He asked himself one question he had never asked before. Not what do I need to do, but why does everything I try in the same way? The answer came from Japan, not from a productivity book, not from a morning routine video, from a philosophy so ancient and so simple that the first time Owen encountered it, he almost dismissed it entirely. Kaizen, continuous improvement of 1% per day. The philosophy that transformed post-war Japanese industry from devastation to dominance in less than 30 years. Not through massive overnight change, through relentless small improvement, day after day after day. Without stopping, Owen read the core principle and felt something shift. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. He had spent 8 years setting goals. He had never once built a system. The difference was simple, but it changed everything. A goal is a destination. A system is the road you walk every day. And you cannot reach the destination by staring at it. You reach it by walking the road, one step at a time, the smallest step possible. Owen had been trying to run marathons. On day 1, Kaizen said start with 1 step. So small it feels ridiculous. So small you have no excuse not to do it. That night, Owen made one decision. Not a plan, one decision. Tomorrow morning, I will wake up 30 minutes earlier than usual. Not 5 a.m., 30 minutes earlier. That was all. The alarm rang 30 minutes earlier. Owen's mind said the usual things. Too tired. Not worth it. Go back to sleep. Owen got up anyway. Not because he felt motivated. Because he had made one decision, and he was going to honor it. He stood in the kitchen at 6:30 a.m. For the first time in years. He made coffee. He sat in silence for 30 minutes. He did nothing impressive. He just showed up. That night before sleep, he read 5 pages of book. Not a chapter. 5 pages. Because 5 pages is impossible to argue with. Any excuse not to read 5 pages is not a real excuse. Day 2, the same. 30 minutes earlier. 5 pages. Day 3, the same. Day 7, something happened. He woke up 2 minutes before the alarm. His body had begun preparing for what was coming. A Harvard neuroscientist who spent 15 years studying behavior change found something that explains exactly what Owen was experiencing. When you repeat a specific behavior in the same context consistently, your brain begins to automate it. The behavior migrates from conscious decision to unconscious pattern. But this only happens if you repeat it long enough without changing it. Owen had spent 8 years changing the behavior before the automation could begin. He was finally staying still long enough for the pattern to form. 2 weeks, and Owen added one more thing, not 10 more things. 1. After his morning coffee, he would walk to the end of the street and back 200 meters. Not a run, not a gym session, 200 meters. His friends would have laughed. He did not tell his friends because Kaizen does not require an audience. It requires consistency. Week 3, the walk extended naturally, not because he forced it, because his body was asking for more. This is what nobody tells you about small habits. They grow on their own when you give them enough time. You do not need to push them. You need to protect them. Owen started protecting his morning. Phone in another room until 8 a.m. No social media before the walk. No news before the 5 pages. The morning became a structure that held everything else up. His job search improved because his mornings were clear. His conversations with his family improved because he was no longer starting every day in deficit. His brother walked past the kitchen one morning and saw Owen at the table with a book and a coffee. He said nothing, but he stopped in the doorway for a moment longer than necessary. Owen noticed. 6 weeks in, everything collapsed. His father needed surgery. Unexpected. Expensive. Owen took extra shifts. He was working 12 hours a day. He stopped waking up early. He stopped walking. He stopped reading. In 2 weeks, he had lost 6 weeks of progress. And the voice came back. See, you always end up here. This is who you are. Owen sat with that voice for one night. Then he made one decision. Not to rebuild everything. To rebuild one thing. The smallest thing. 5 pages before sleep. He was exhausted. He had worked 12 hours. He read the 5 pages anyway. Because one thing is not nothing. And nothing is the only thing. That truly breaks a chain. He did not need to be perfect. He needed to return. This is the principle the Japanese call wabi-sabi, the acceptance of imperfection, not as failure, but as the texture of real change. A river during drought becomes a trickle, but never stops. The moment it stops, it is no longer a river. It is a memory of where water used to be. Owen's practice was the river. The 5 pages were the trickle, and the trickle was everything. 3 months after the morning, his brother looked at him in silence. Owen sat down and asked himself a question he had avoided for 27 years. Why am I doing this? Not for the habits, not for the productivity, not for some future version of himself he had imagined. He was doing it because of, for seconds in a doorway, because of a 12-year-old boy who had stopped expecting more without saying a word, because of a father who could no longer carry what the family needed, because of a mother who deserved to stop worrying. The Japanese call this ikigai, your reason for being, not a grand purpose, not a mission statement, the specific real reason that makes you get up when everything in you wants to stay down. Owen's ikigai was not impressive. It was not ambitious. It was just true. I want my brother to see something worth seeing when he looks at me. That was enough. Because purpose does not expire the way motivation does. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings come and go. Purpose is a direction. And a man with a direction cannot be stopped by a feeling of tiredness or a moment of weakness. When Owen did not want to wake up, he no longer thought about habits. He thought about 4 seconds in a doorway, and he got up. 6 months after the stroke, Owen's father came home from a follow-up appointment. Owen was at the kitchen table with a book and coffee. His brother was eating breakfast. His mother was getting ready for work. His father stood in the kitchen doorway. Not the same doorway as before, but Owen recognized the moment. His father looked at him for a long time. Then he said something simple. "When did you become this person?" Owen thought about the question. He thought about 5 pages. Read while exhausted. About 200 meters walked, when nothing inside him wanted to move. About 30 minutes earlier, when the bed was pulling him back. About all the small things that had added up, without anyone noticing, until someone finally did. "I don't know exactly," he said. "I just stopped waiting to feel like doing it." His father nodded slowly. "That is the whole secret, isn't it?" Owen looked at his coffee. "That is the whole secret." 1 year after the doorway moment, Owen was not a different person, in the dramatic sense. He had not become an athlete. He had not built a business. He had not transformed his body beyond recognition. He had done something less visible and more permanent. He had become someone who did what he said he would do, every day, without exception, not perfectly, consistently. His mornings were fixed. His evenings were structured. His word to himself had become the most reliable thing in his life. His brother was 16 now. One morning, Owen found him at the kitchen table with a book. Before school, Owen said nothing. He made 2 coffees. He sat down. They read in silence for 20 minutes. Neither of them mentioned it. Neither of them needed to, because this is what real transformation actually looks like. Not a dramatic moment of arrival, a quiet morning where you realize the person you were trying to become has been here for a while, and you simply did not notice the exact moment he arrived. Here is the truth about discipline that nobody will tell you directly. You do not become disciplined the day you decide to change. You become disciplined the day you stop expecting to want to do it. Owen did not wake up motivated. He woke up and did it anyway. He did not walk because he felt like walking. He walked because he had decided to walk, and the decision had already been made. He did not read because he loved reading. At 11 p.m., after 12 hours of work, he read because 5 pages is not something you can argue with. And this is the only system that has ever worked. Not the one that relies on feeling ready. Not the one that requires perfect conditions. The one that is so small you have no excuse. The one that continues even when everything falls apart. The one that comes back after the collapse with one small thing instead of the whole plan. Kaizen does not ask you to transform overnight. It asks you to be 1% better than yesterday. And 1% compounded every day for 1 year is not a 35% improvement. It is 3,778%, because small things done consistently do not add up. They multiply. Owen's brother saw something worth seeing, not because Owen made a dramatic decision, because Owen made 1,000 small ones, starting with waking up 30 minutes earlier and reading 5 pages before sleep. You already know what your one thing is. The smallest possible version of the change you keep postponing. Start there. Not tomorrow. Not on Monday. Now, if this reached something inside you, subscribe and activate the bell. Leave one comment below. Your one thing. The smallest version. Right now. See you in the next video.